Hey, folks, thank you for tuning in. And, it's a wonderful thing to be working in Azure Devops. And DevOps is something which is evangelized in a way that, hey, it has to be there in every institution and every organization needs to take care of all the things that we are talking DevOps, this, DevOps, that. And I think so. There is always a reason for everybody to understand that, hey, DevOps is a purpose for an institution. And let's just start with what is it all about Azure DevOps. There's no books, there's no tools that you can start as a beginning. Everything is a beginning and everything is a new start to us at any given point. So over a course of time, I've realized one thing that maybe we need to have an ultimate governance and ultimate policies that is built on. And I feel that Azure DevOps is one such platform where you can really go back and listen to and say that, hey, this is what we need and this is what we'll be working towards. And so this is what Azure DevOps is. And you can reach out to me on any of the social media platforms here so that we can stay connected. And a little bit about me, I'm a podcaster. I love talking to techies and I'm a bibliophile. I love reading a lot of research papers, white papers, cloud adoption frameworks, well architected framework, software, supply chain, DevOps, state of the DevOps report, and so on. So I also read SEC reports like bedtime stories. That's one of my worst and the best thing that I can look at too. And I'm also passionate about image data sets. So computer vision is something that I'm very fascinated about. Now exploring Azure Cloud. And to me, the definition of DevOps is the union of the people, process, and the product to enable continuous delivery and the value for the end users. And this is all from the Microsoft documentation. And it's basically the tools, cultures, and it's just a methodology that's going to say, hey, what are we going to operate? What are we going to monitor and learn? Sorry for that typo there. So monitor and learn. And so there is always a reason for us to define, okay, where can we just fit inside that world of DevOps and the things like that. So plan and track, develop, it's all the continuous delivery thing. So everybody today needs DevOps because its ultimate governance, monitoring, control is available to you. So it's not like a group full of people talking DevOps is an ultimate tool or the methodology, but it's like, how can we build that culture? And DevOps is something which is fascinating to me. So if you look at this entire thing, the same thing. Whatever I did here, develop, build, test, monitor, and learn, it's still the same old thing. So it's like faster mean time to recovery. There is 7x larger change to the failures, faster time to market, increased revenue, and 46 times deployment frequency. That is like, you can still just go on and on in terms of your deployments. Like I can give you an example of a talk from John Halsbaugh. John Halsbaugh. Sorry for that. John Halsbaugh. 10 plus deploys. This is one of the best talk that you can ever listen to. I think this talk, when they were giving, I think John Halsbaugh and the other guy, Paul Hammond, all these guys were there in Flickr and they were doing a transaction of between the billions of images and how do they keep their environment that sturdy enough to keep it. So it's always that high performance definition that we give, and it's always that high performance task that we just really want to achieve. An introduction to DevOps is something like, you have Azure Boards, Azure Pipeline, Azure Repose, test plans, artifacts. I think to me, this is the state of the art DevOps culture that we are just inculcating. Like I'll just show you how does that DevOps thing looks like. So let me just go on and log into my server. And Azure DevOps organization is where I want to go. And my ultimate goal is to always reach to that place. And I have made a lot of things. So we'll just go by step, but I really wanted to show you what is that organization, what is that culture, and everything regarding that. So let me just go to some dummy organization that I did and project which has been taken care. And you can see that, right? There is Azure Boards, Repos, test plan, artifacts here. the same thing what you are using as an Azure boards will be considered as one of the best tools to advocate towards. And you can think of like, okay, what are we architecting towards? And there is always that one definition, right? Okay, where can we just look forward to and things like that. There is always that one way that you come back and say, hey, I need boards here, I need repositories here, I need to do this, I need to do that. And this to me gives you an ultimate chance to understand, okay, what is it all about when we are understanding that entire infrastructure. So I think it's better that I share my complete screen. I think, Sarthak, I just want to share my entire screen now so that I can zoom in and zoom out whenever it is required. So you can put it down there on the screen so that it will be more visible, because I was not able to do that zoom it because I was only sharing one of the screen. And I think Sarthak needs to come up now. I just want Sarthak. I just wanted to share my screen, complete screen. So yeah, I think can make it half of the screen. That would be awesome, so that I can do this. So this is what I was talking about. Like you have boards, repositories, pipelines, test plans, and to an extent where you can also get your organization artifacts. Like this artifacts that I'm talking to you, it's also dependent on the test plans, pipelines, repositories are connected to it. It's all that webhooks that are communicating with each other and they're coming. But when you consider such kind of an governance, like I'll say you one thing, you can consider Azure boards and Azure repositories connected, and these two can be dependent on the pipelines, and boards can have communication with the test plan. So this is how it is. So everybody knows how does that things work here, and everybody wants to have that fascinated move, and this is how it is in Azure DevOps. Everything is connected, and it's a state of the art resilience that you can really build on your entire DevOps cycle. Like nobody needs to know every tool. Everything is available on one website and everybody can just go and build that. So refer to this azure.com/DevOps and it's all about that. So let me just give you a quick intro on the pipeline. So pipelines is all about like, hey, where can you really go and get in with that amount of technology that you're working towards? And AI is always going to be built, and everything has to be automated, everything needs to be tested, everything needs to be governed, and this is what I'm talking about. So Azure pipelines are language agnostic, it can work on any languages, it's extensible, it's basically built to explore the range of implementation. It doesn't mean that you can't deploy to GCR or something like Azure DevOps to GCR. Build and push the container image to the registry. So Google Container Registry also can be used in to deployments, and you can see that you don't have to build and push the container. I think it's the same old resource group and the stuff that you get in. You get the pipeline, create the pipeline. You can build to any of the Docker platform that you're talking. But the only thing is you need to have that registry and the operation. So I'll show you how that governance part is taken care here. Why didn't this work? So it's push to ACR and push to builds, right? Okay. So it didn't get, but that's fine. You can see it being deployed to other platforms. So I generated some documentation, and you can go here. How does that documentation look like? So generate docs, cloning the repositories and working. The results will be given here. So echo the results are there. The action seems to have done okay and everything. So I'll just make an attempt here. So you can see that here. This is how it is. So generated docs are okay and everything is okay. It's double thumbs up here. And it didn't work there. To me, this shows me how does that Toyota production system and on card. So this is one of the examples of an and-on card mechanism. So it's like when you just push that, the entire production line used to stop, and that that problem statement was supposed to be solved then and there. To be precise, this will be an ultimate definition for it. Like the team leader needs to just come up when there's an hand-on cord push. So somebody push the hand-on cord in that direction, and they need to come up there. So this is how it was. Toyota production system really built it. So it's environment agnostic at the end of the day, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be without the governance. Like you need to have that security keys and everything. So since might be I had messed up with some or the other security key, let me just see that, and let me just come back to that repository there. So container and Kubernetes can be easily deployed, built. You don't have to do it on your local system. You can have that initialize system from the Azure Devops, and you can start working. And it's the best in the class open source software that you're looking at. So why there is GitHub? GitHub we are talking about because it's the ultimate thing. So let me just go to the secrets and see whatever I've done. So the secrets are here. I think recently done more these. I think I've updated all of these, but I don't know why it didn't come up. But let's see. I think it's one main. I think it's password.acr, docker password.acr. I think this should start working, but it didn't start working. I don't know why. But let's see what might be the reason behind that. So, yeah, I think username.acr, there was no commits done. So that's fine. Perfect. So I can show you the other commits which was done on that same thing, but it worked there on that time. So it was like, okay, we are now pushing to the Azure container registry. It's this registry which got built and it got pushed. I don't know why today it didn't happen, but like, let's see if it might be some sort of a reason that it might not be working here, but not an issue, no problem. So this is what I'm talking about. The builds, the pipelines are now being generated, and the software is just flowing here and out. Like it's now build and push has happened with all the sort of necessary details and everything required, and it was done to you, right? You need not have to do much of a work here. So extract the digest. This is what I'm calling as a matrix build. Like you get a chance to analyze one by one, okay, which has gone down, which has been up, and I can show you some more examples later as well, so don't worry about that. So all of these are the same old things that I'm working towards, but don't know why it didn't work today. So that's all right. So this is what I'm talking about. So best in the class open source, it supports the open source. I'll also show you some open source softwares which are using Azure pipelines and the GitHub actions as well. So Azure pipelines and free and unlimited builds for the public projects. For the private projects, there is 10 free parallel build jobs across the Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. I don't know why, because I have an student ambassador account which is being active directed to my new email. Somebody sent student ambassador here, not me. So there is always that reason, like where can we start working, and this is what I'm talking about. So there are Azure boards which can give you an access to the Azure pipelines and all the code repositories that we're talking. Why I just talked about Azure pipelines before is because Azure pipelines is one of the crucial parts. Like it need not have to break because you have done something wrong in your code. It can be something like you have exposed some of your public keys or the private keys outside in some or the other repositories, or somewhere down the line, it can stop hindering your performance. So let's just go to the Azure boards, connected from the idea to release. Like as I told, it's all connected each other. There are Scrum boards. Project insights are always available to you. Like you can get to know what are the graphs. Let's just go a little hands-on with this. So I think we can start working with the boards. So it's just unassigned thing. So customer had an issue with something. So let's just say I just want to add a work item. So let me just say it's an epic. What does an epic in an Azure DevOps means? Epic in Azure DevOps. Yes. So determines what is it all about. So if you take the synergy at which you are considering, I can say you how. Epic is the highest priority, and this defines the features. And later on, you have an user story to start working towards. And that user story will be taking the form factor of a task. We always talk about misconfigurations in the cloud. This has happened down, this went down, that went down. It's all about that. Like that epic as in hierarchy of different features, user stories, tasks, and user stories have that definition, like what can be the realistic usage of this entire infrastructure that I'm going through. So there are bugs, there are tasks that we are taking care about, and later on there are some issues that your organization, or let's say your entire STLC or the ALM process might face. It will be there. So it all starts with the epic, which is considered, then that features. Okay, you have now defined it. Next, what? It's all about, like, now you get to chance to use an user story and start building towards that. And to be very frank, these two are interdependent. Like you can start connecting all these together, and you can say, okay, this is my user story. I need all these kinds of pipeline. What should be my future thing? So issues will come in the later part, so don't worry about that. So this is how it is. So Epic, let's just create, okay, Vishwas is creating bugs in the production. Like let's say that I've never worked on a production system, to be very frank. I just do a little bit of push, pull. That's what I do. Like, to be very frank, Tarun Marva sir is coming tomorrow and he will give you an entire infrastructure and the information about it. So, why I am selling you all this? It's because it can go to do as always. You can modify it and you can do and doing or something. You can say the status of it. So if you say it's doing and it will go there, and I want to follow it, I want to follow up with this guy, and I want to schedule that, hey, let's throw this issue to wait, somebody else. Whom do I hate in my lab? Matthew and Senna. I hate you both. If you're listening, yes, I hate you both. I hate you both, Matthew and Senna. I'm just joking, folks. I love you. So save that, and you can just get in, like, hey, there's one comment which has already been there. So everybody can look at it, and if you go to this, there's always a work item which was being assigned, but somebody is doing it. How? You can really analyze what is happening, and you can really tag somebody. Like you can go to the tag version and you can start doing it. Like it was done by Vishwas and it was done by Todo. So if you can go and see here, okay, sorry for that. You can see this box. Somebody added it as a backlog and somebody started it. Who started it? It's me and me. It's me who started it, me who ended it. And you can see that how the to do and the doing part is being separated out. So doing part is now being separated by the to do, and there is no correlation between them, but you get to know the relation, like who started it and who is now taking care of that job. And it's the ultimate thing. You want to really analyze, this is what you need, and you can share it as well. So add link, so existing items. So let's say this one is there, so link to the child node and comment, hi, is not working. But I can say you one thing, like don't link it to the child node, link it to the build. Like if it doesn't happen, you can go back to that build number which is there in the pipelines and start working. So link is always there, something like, okay, something like, where can I link this entire process to who is taking care about and what it is. And if I do done, somebody has to review it, and you can go to that done part and you can really fetch what was the details of it, the time history of it, and now you can see that, right? You can see that entire done state graph has been given to you. So who did it? Who took care of it? and what really happened, and everything is taken care here. So history of it is taken care. If you want it, you can delete it, but I'll just keep it because future demos I can still use it. So see that, as soon as I removed that, it only became three in number instead of being four. So there was that one epic thing which was there, it's not there now. So you can add a new item, you can add a task, you can add an issue, and you can add an assigned thing. Like, let's see what is the status of this. You can see the history of that. Like, somebody is still in the to do, right, and nobody has been started to work on it. So which area, what path has to be taken? Like yesterday, as I told, it's all about that A3 thinking. A3 thinking is also there in here. So you can see how many backlogs are there, like who is taking care of what a kind of a job. It's still in a to do. Doing jobs are also not there. So sprints are something like, hey, how can we start working towards it? So collapse all can't be done. So newly raised workflows are always considered. So work on the DevOps tools and learning. Sorry for the typo. I don't know why I do so much of typos, by the way. God, speed me. So, it's giving me that list of repositories, like had the link to the GitHub or the link. Like, I can show you that. Sorry for that. I get energetic towards the DevOps. I don't know why. So add the link, it's always there, and you can connect with Azure Repose or the GitHub. If it's private, you need to authorize it. Public, you don't need to. So pipelines, related work, everything is taken care here. And queries are something like you want to do something, like let's say I want to add a new work item. So what I can do is, I think I can use targeted dates or something. Operator can be somebody else, but I can say, okay, what kind of an operator? Like any type of a value. Add a new clause. Like it's something like, hey, do you want to learn something new? Then join the community. Something new, then join the community. Things like that. Contains word, doesn't contain words, or something like. It's always that relationship that you are doing, and you can have a list of it, and you can start charts of it. Like you can see what is happening with the people who is reaching out to run query. Like this is something as good as, like, that there is a value there. To start with one day, like this is like you are setting a kind of a cron job, and you are like, okay, what are you doing? So it's always that one thing, like I just wanted to query something, it's not there. So see that, Vishwas is creating a bug and things like that. So delivery plans can also be done. So let's say, hey, I want to learn machine learning, and what's the step? And somebody from Vishwas's team has to do select epics. I'll just do that, and I'll start doing that. Vishwas and as a team, and one of the team will start doing issues, criteria, like activity. You can say, okay, there's an application type, this and that, and you can say remote machines or the web applications, because in all my institutions I just do that. But web applications need not have to be just web apps or something, it can be function app as well. So we'll just show that in the future things. So I created a plan, and see that, Vishwas is taking care of the epics, and you can see how the things are working and out, and all the here, like, okay, how many epics has been solved, how many things has been going out. So this is what the functionality of a board is all about. So this entire boards work items rules the market here, but boards have its own task to do, backlogs has its own task to do, sprints have its own methodology to take care of, queries have their own way of working, where it's like we have something as a query here, how can we solve this? If there is a customer who is coming back to you and saying that, hey, how can we start working towards it? And there is always a delivery plan that you need to do. Like you can set on some day, okay, I want to do something here, and what's the step that I need to take? Like I want to learn machine learning, what's the step that I need to take? And you can go to the settings, and you can say markers like, hey, end if Possible. So let's say it's 114, right? 115. Let's just do that and see this end if possible. There is always that one deadline which is coming. So if the today is being very close to that, and this will be how you will be doing it. It's a kind of a calendar for all the people who is just jotting down in the delivery plans and the things like that. So once you go to the industry, it will be more shiny looking code and the stuff. So I think this is the same reactor file code that I imported. I think I'm going to work on this today and I'm going to get you that. I think I can show you that one thing. So it's there on my channel. The entire GitHub actions I've tried explaining here. So you guys can go check it out here. So it's there for you. So I think that's the end of that pipeline and the repository that we are just doing about all these boards and the things. So let's just go with it. So integrating with GitHub. Integrating with GitHub is something which is more crucial because in the marketplace, as soon as you get in, that entire Azure pipeline can be used. So how to do that? Azure pipelines in GitHub marketplace, and you can go there and check out, okay, this is what my repository looks like, set up a plan. And what you can do is there's a free installation which is going there, and install it for free. What you can do is you can authorize on your GitHub and completely order the begins, and there's no credit card and the stuff that is required, so don't worry about that. So all repositories need to have it. So all selected, and you can go and see the application, the developers again, blocked users, interactive limits. Like this has everything. So switch to another account. I don't want that to happen. So as always, DevOps these days is advocating towards accessibility. Like, what are we supposed to be doing in terms of create a character shortcut, save this, save that? There's always that one thing. So, old password, if you want to change, I won't show you that, don't worry. So, you can see that how many sessions have happened. So, this to me is also an ultimate governance and the security that we are taking care about. So, now let's see what is happening with respect to another thing. So integrating with GitHub is much more easier than ever. You can just go integrate with it and easily you can run an Azure pipeline. So let me just show you some repositories which run on that. PyTorch, GitHub. You can look at that. If there is an Azure pipelines here, there is build pipelines, daily pipelines are there. There is a daily checks which are happening on which is going to be the best version of the code to push to the production and things like that. And nightly is one of the version of the PyTorch, and they are just trying to build that. Those files are being taken care, and you can see that there is always that version of the code which is taken care. So you can really go and master your entire thing. So there is always a CI build which is happening. So you can go to the projects and you can look at like what is happening in the projects and two utils gpu.cuda registrations, and there is always that needs to triage and things like that. So whatever I told in terms of the board, they did the same thing. So it's always there. So to me, I think probably Microsoft is going to be one of the most DevOps enabled institution according to me in the future as well, because they're having two DevOps tools and they're improvising on it every single day. So let's just come to an Azure Repose. So to me, this is an way in which you are privatizing all your entire infrastructure. GitHub is being accessible to every person, but if you make your project private, then you need to give an access to somebody who is entering through the Git with the same old password. I can show you how it is. So I think there are some repositories that I can start working towards, or else let's just go do it everything from scratch. So the ultimate thing is you will be given an access till here. So dev.azure.com will always be there, and you can just enter the market. And this is how we create an organization. So as soon as you click on the create new organization, you will be given an access to create a new organization. Now let's see, sign up. Yes, I now need a South India, and that's my organization. And they're just checking the captcha, KD, and that's perfect. I think that should work. So sorry for that. It takes a little bit of time, so not to worry about anything. Think meanwhile, any questions? How different Azure Boards epics are from Confluence? So to be very frank, there is no difference that you can see with respect to the Azure DevOps, Confluence, and anything. So it's still the same old boards. It's still the same old logic. Like I can give you one example of a person called as Eric Breckner. You will be amazed by the way he has done Kanban and Azure. He uses the same old board like this, a very long board, and this is how his team started working. And he is one of the authors of this book, Agile Project Management with Kanban. Go and study this book. You'll fall in love with it. So there is no difference between Confluence and the Azure boards. It's all still the same, but it's going to be the connected version of it. So you need not have to worry about all the things that is going to break or make your entire infrastructure. So that is it. So any other questions? So no questions. I think that organization is done. So it just takes some time. It's that same old round thing that comes there, but let's let's say okay, not the organization. I don't know why student account didn't give me that private student ambassador account didn't give me the private public access, or else I would have shared this. So I just did the project name called as Vishwas, and it's here, and I've successfully entered it. And now let me just go to this DevOps thing. So it's all about the code that we are talking about. So it's all about like how many pushes happen, how many pulls happen. Like it's all the same old thing. What you have in HTTPS and SSH here, you still have the same old HTTP and SSH here. So SSH and HTTPS, GitHub CLI. So let me just zoom in and show you what is it all about. So same old HTTPS, same old SSH, and there is one more thing, GitHub CLI. So if you have a GitHub CLI version, so you can go there. So check out how does these work. So there is an code which is different here. There's a code which is different here. The way you interact changes, but still all these still remains the same. So you need not have to worry about that. So as always, accessibility is taken care, and you can, if you open it on the Visual Studio, you open it on the online Visual Studio on your local system. So you need not have to do that on basis as well. So you can just go there. You can download it, or else you can open it in the GitHub desktop. If you just go there, GitHub desktop will always be there. So I don't mind. So don't do that right now. So let me just go to that repo. Yeah, that's the best part about it. So you have an ultimate way of entering this entire infrastructure. And also there's an option here where you can import the repositories. Let me just say I want to import this repository. So I go to this HTTPS thing. I want to import this repository, and I put this and I import it, and see that it just imports it seamlessly, because GitHub is connected to the Azure Repose as well. So it's still the same old Git, still is the same old distributed system that we are taking care about. And you can go and refresh this file, you can get it. And also see the magic of this entire thing that we are talking. So don't worry if you are very new to building pipelines and things like that. It's We all have faced that. We all don't know what is going to happen. So tomorrow it will be done through a CI/CD pipelines with Tarun Marwa sir's session. So don't worry about that. So set up a build. Just look at the way it just automated my everything. So it knows that I have a Docker manifest file here. I'll show you in the repos. So there's a Docker, and don't say it's a Docker file. It's a manifest file which is saying environment variables need to be created, and it knows that there is always a manifest file which is there. I need to start working towards it. So I think that pipeline releases libraries, so it was always there. So let's just go and see the same old magic there. So set up a build pipeline. So it knows that there is an Azure repository here, and it's still the same old documentation which is good there. So source directory, I can use my source directory and I can start working towards. I think this is the build ID that is going to go there. Build and the source directory. I don't think there is an Docker file here. I think I just need to just remove this for a while. Let me just see. I've never worked on this because I didn't appreciate that demo that I'll be doing today. So I think image name, Docker Hub. Yeah, I need to just create the variables. It's very simple. In the side of your way pipelines, you have this variables tab. You just need to go and create variables and start working. So just create a variable saying that, hey, it's a Docker Hub here, and see the magic of it. It directly takes the bash script and it's just taking in all the things which is taking that. So if you are referring to the YAML here, it's now referring to Docker Hub. And if it's a bash script, do this. If it's a partial script, environment, so that's how it's done. If it's a batch script, so you just do it like this. So there's always an option for you. If you want to keep it a secret, you can keep it a secret. So let me just go to the portal and see. Okay, not this, not portal.azure.com. So now what do you have right now is I have a container registry now. So let me just get the access keys. Don't worry, all these things will be removed exactly after this demo has been taken care about. So Docker Hub, where is this Docker Hub? So login server is what I need. So where are you? So I need to keep this a secret. So that's my Docker Hub. So that is done. And the next thing is the username. So there will be a variable for that as well. Repository is image name. I can do that as well. Email. Oh, sorry. I want a new variable to be created. So very simple. You need not have to do much here. You just have to click on this plus and you will be sorted. So image name is what I took in. Oh, sorry, I didn't have that. So I just click the press image name. So image name is this here. So if you can see that it's image name here. So I'm taking that. The value is this and I want to keep it as secret. So I don't think there's a password which I have to do and everything. So let's see. But this pipeline will not run. I'll say you why, because I am now using an Active Directory account and I need to fill the form to get my control over all the things. So let me just show you how this Circle CI project set up and things like that. So yes, I think no hosted published runner. So I need to fill this form. If I just go and fill this form, I'll say what happens. Since this is not my account, I'll not be authorized to do that. If so, it's always that like you want to know, okay, this is what I need for my entire pipelines and the registries. Because back then when you were running pipelines, there was an issue where people used to just mine the bitcoins and the things like that. So we didn't do that. So it's still the same old repository and the stuff that you're working towards. And I think I can show you one of the repository that I maintained, not maintained, like it's just a demo file that I did. So don't worry about the artifacts and everything. I'll show it in the GitHub as well, because when I go to that, it's not allowing me to build pipeline or do anything. So it's not allowing me to do that. So it's a brief intro that I'll give you. So Azure test plans are something like there is an end-to-end goal that you're setting in your organization. It's like this. So DevOps, so Azure portal. So it's portal.azure.com and it goes to that. Let me just show you how is this all about. Taken care. Azure DevOps organization. Uh, organization. So if you go to the organization, you will have a project which will have a set of code. What you can do is write a test plan for it. So PyPy package is what I do. So I think I can give you an access for that as well. So if you want to write a test plan, it's very simple. Welcome to the tester. You're in a basic access level and you're seeing a page do not have a test plan, test suits created. So selected the test plan. So you can go and install it on your entire uh, browser, and you can say get the notification like test didn't pass and the things like that. So that will always be there. Since I'm in the incognito window on my sister's laptop, I'm not going to do that. So it's always that. So it's a compact thing that you're building. It's like everything on one box and one single website. It's like I give you an access to this. This will be my entire organization thing. So since this is private, it will be available only if I have an access to it. If I don't have an access to it, it will not be available to you. So I just did the same thing. So if you think of artifacts, artifacts are nothing but this. So you can create an artifact, you can start working like, hey, which was, and I want to, you always want to keep it in an organization. It's not like the project one. So you just don't want to do that. So connect to a feed. You can connect to a nugget.exe, .NET, npm packages can be built, Gradle build and a Maven build is for the Java or the Dart and the things like that. So pip and the twine is for the Python, and the universal packages are always like, you can say Docker, Ruby, or else any of the packages that you're thinking. So this is what it's all about. So all these packages combined together, they're just going to give you an access to all these kind of systems and so on. So you can create a number of repositories and the things. So let me just show you one of the best examples of this entire thing. So it's repositories and it's Python Flask web application. So it's very simple. What I did was I went to the portal.azure.com, and it's very simple. I just went to an web app and I created some web app here. I'll show you even how to create it and how to link that to your entire thing. So there are different versions of it. So let's just go ahead and do that because I've kept it in one repository. It's Win. Vishwas Narayan. So it's always there. So Docker container, if I want to just build through a Docker container, I can do that. So yes. So I want that operating system to be running through Linux and stuff like that. So you can start working on it. So let's just do this. But I would like to go on a code and I'll show you how this GitHub repository was automatically built. And this was always done for you. I think 3 hours ago, I just ran it once so that I wanted to test it. So it doesn't happen like the entire GitHub, not the GitHub, the Azure portal wala DevOps demo. It's like I didn't get a chance to work on it. So yeah. So you can choose a number of stack that you really want to work towards. And like, let's say I want to connect an Python application and I want to run this. And you can see that there is n number of information which is already taken care about, like subscription. Yes, you can take care of all the subscription, the Python version, who will publish it, and what will be the form factor of it. It will be the form factor of the code, which resource group, name of the web app, and everything. And if you see the service plans, you will be amazed by the way it's being taken care. If you have enabled monitor, there are services which are available for monitoring things. So ASP, it's basically that version of the Azure service plan. So Linux is an operating system which will be running on that entire cluster. Since I'm in a free tier, so it's showing me a free tier. Shared infrastructure, yes. And Azure Compute Unit is what they are referring to. So it's a shared infrastructure. It's not an if you go to a company like Daimler, Bosch, and all these, they have their own infrastructure which has been procured by Azure. So there is always there. So continuous deployment setup after the creation. So I'll show you how that happens as well. So what you're seeing here as in GitHub Actions, which ran here and gave you that entire repository. will be taken care. So it's still in the main branch. So it was done for the main branch here. I think it's for the master branch, master one branch that I did. Since this is in the master branch, I think it goes there for the master branch as well. So it takes a time to load up because I'm now using a free tier. If I had gone for another repository or something, it would have been much more easier for me to work on. So no problem. So let's just do that. So main branch demos and stuff. So don't worry about that. Everything will be working. So it's how you create it. And it takes a time. So in fact, I'll just cancel this so that like it doesn't take too much of a time here. I think it's there in the twin repository. So I think it's better I cancel this because I don't want to waste my time here going through all these demos and the stuff. So just open this portal and you get an access to something called as deployment center. If you just see the deployment tab, you have a deployment center here. And what you can do is you can access anything from here, and you just click on this part here. Sorry for that. Deployment center, you're good to go. So it's just a simple move. Deployment center, connect that to some GitHub repository, the branch that you want to commit towards, everything will be sorted. And there are different staging. Staging is also available in the one Azure app as well. Staging in Azure Web Apps. So setup staging in an Azure Web Apps is simple. What you can do is you can go to Azure Services, add a slot. So you can see that, right? Since I'm always there in this thing, I can't do that, but there is something called as deployment slots here. Oh, sorry for that. So this is Python, so you can do that. So you can add a slot. So if I can upgrade, it will obviously come on that overview portal as well, like this many stages that you can do and the things like that. But this is not going to work until I'm going to upgrade myself. So trade-offs, can't help it with some subscription. So I think this is the one. This is one of the websites. So SSL is not taken care here because this is just a new one that I worked on. So probably SSL will also be taken care. So if I type in Vishwas and password means something, it says okay, hello Vishwas and the things like that. So it's still the same old thing. So it's the logout stuff that I'm talking here. If I do the logout, it goes to this one. Login, it goes to that place. Logout, it will come back to this. I think this is the old website from Azure, and I think we can push some code to this, and we can see how does the build get triggered. So I think it's in a static file. I think it's not in a CSS templates. That's what I thought about. So let's say it's in the home thing. easydev.reskill.com. I'm not getting this. Why? easydev.reskill.com. Yes, so it's here. I don't know why didn't it come, but don't do this way because you need to try pushing it as well. So before we are part of a confirm team, reskill. Oh, okay. ILL. Three L's. I think the workflow has been triggered, and probably by now, if the workflows gets built in the main repository, I think I have to do one more thing in a master one as well. So I just wanted to do that. That's it. So you'll see how the builds get happen here. So yes, so when I do master one, I think that strategy part, everything will be taken care by the Azure only. So what you just saw was an ideal build that happened, and that thing I'll just show you here. It's very simple. All right, I think I need to put my connector here. So, yes. So now I'll just zoom in a bit. So you have that kind of a naming annotation for the matrix build that's happening, and you're saying how to dispatch the workflow. Even if you remove that, this is not going to happen. And now here, what you're saying is now go to the main repository and see if there are any changes, if there are any push happening to the branches main, and you can also define master here as well. So if you can do that, perfect. So it doesn't matter, but one branch is what we are trying to build. So in your run on jobs and build, what you're seeing here, this will be named as pools in your, I think I need to do pool in Azure DevOps, because the same thing what you are just seeing here is now being considered as one of the repositories here. So if you just do the same old pool stuff and the things like that, this is what you're referring to. You're saying that, hey, look for a system which is free for me to run such kind of jobs. And this is what your Ubuntu latest and the stuff works. And later on, you just do the same old versioning, control of all these. And of course, it's all the stuff that is going on here. But once you just see this entire repository, you will understand the other ones as well, because they are very similar to this. Not very similar, 99.9% similar, just the secrets that we are just giving here, just changes here and things like that. So it's the same old thing that we are just doing. So let's see whether the actions have been built. I think they took some time. They didn't get built. Let's see whether they got built or something. So I can show you one of the Java repository that we started working towards, and that Java repository is also here. So it's remote Spring Web App. So if I go here and check out what is the status of the build here, I think this has built, and now you see there is an artifact which is built there. So what you see as an artifact there will be an artifact here. So don't worry about that. So yes, I think this is just build and deploy jar files to this. And I think, oh, just build happening. What is this? Yep, remote Spring App web. I think this is going to change if that builds happen in that version of the code. I think all these are working repositories. You can start clicking on my repository, which is there here, and you can start seeing what has been built and things like that. So I think these tasks are still working. Why are they still working? I don't know why they are still working right now. I don't know. Sometimes this is what happens, and deploy didn't happen. Why? Probably the deployment that we have done might have it not been taken care. Let's see. Python Web App Flask. But since that deploy didn't happen, it didn't hinder my other production wala stuff, which is always being deployed, to not to go down. So it's like, okay, it's still up and running. So let's just try building on something. Like it's still there, but it did get deployed. So it's always there. So if you see the artifacts, it's a Python web app. If you go back to this entire repository, I'll show you what is there in this repository here. So in this repository, the same old things come up. So this is what I'm talking about. So to me, DevOps is not just tools or the technology, it's just an ultimate goal of an organization to deploy their functionalities and everything. So artifacts, we have talked a lot about artifacts. It's just that packaged code which is coming back and sitting there on your registered Artifactory repository, which is all managed, add packages, pipelines, because you need to annotate them, because once you get inside the production, you won't get to know how many artifacts gets built, what are the processes that are going down here and there. So it's always that. So migrating from Team Foundation Service, that's what TFS stands for, to the Azure DevOps is very simple. So there is always a TFS service which is always ready for your local builds, but there's Azure DevOps which is global builds. So this is where we are talking about the global availability, the trust factor, and everything. So the features can be accessed immediately, and everything gets fast and smooth. So at the end of the day, you have as a developer, you can plan smarter, work on all the collaboration and work for the better environments. And there's always that Azure DevOps thing, which is always coming up and saying that, hey, this is what we'll be working towards, and AI and everything, that ML part. We're now trying to automate it. And the build and the deployment is being taken care by a DevOps guy. You as a developer make sure that you just understand what is working right and wrong, and we will just figure out the other steps. So broadening the Azure ecosystem, Azure is an open system, by the way. If you just go to my LinkedIn and type in something called as Azure Sketches, hashtag Azure Sketches, that's my hashtag that I'm talking. Sorry, hashtag Azure Sketches. You get all my Azure sketches that I've done, and I think Azure as an open system, this is one of my favorite thing because I made an analogy and everybody started appreciating it. So I can show you this image. So this is how it is. So whether you take a data science system, whether you take an other system which has not yet governed by an entire infrastructure, but you're going through, and this is what it is. So ML ops, I think, have one more white space. I've taken care of the white space as well. So this is what I'm talking about. Even when I'm talking about ML ops, ML ops is just a DevOps where you are just adding all the ML components into your ecosystem, and you are just automating all that process as well. So this is where ML ops comes into the picture. A simple definition, we can talk about it for hours. So now it's all about that, where you are now being accessing all these things. I think probably this was the oldest one that we talked about, but I think the newest one is yet to be there. I think I can just go and change one of the code here. I think I can change one code here. Everything will be taken care from now on. I think so. Now, since that actions has been built in the main file as well. So let me just go and look at what is happening here. So yes. So the update that I did with that of the reskill SKI 3ls is here. So it's what I'm talking about. So we are just now going towards that ultimate governance that we are talking about. Like everything needs to be built properly, and this is being taken care here. And I don't know why that other production, not the production thing, the master one got built. I'm missing industry, so can't help it. So that's one of the trade-offs when you are doing some other work which is you are loving as well. So you can't help that. So I think I can share you one way in which you can go there. So don't worry. It's just the springboard stuff that I'm doing here. So I think it's in the demo thing that we have it as the first commit, right? I think. Oh, sorry. This is just a class and everything. So I think we need to go to the main demo application. Not this. Why I'm going back to the packages itself. Wait. So here is the. Sorry, Java is not my forte, folks. I will be very frank with you. So resources, application.properties. Oh, there's nothing. What have I done? Controller, home controller, Java. Yes, this is where the code is. I think today it's not Poonam, it's Sartak. I forgot the other guy's name. The other guy, I forgot your name. Sorry for that. Like, what's your name? Sartak? No, no, no. Okay, let's say there is a guy called as Veer Singh. I think you need to share the screen. You need to share the screen. God. You need to share the screen. Perfect. So, Veer. Sartak, Jain only, and audience. I think UPES Dehradun. So let me just do UPES for hosting. So yes, Sartak is here. So I think I have triggered the workflow here. I think one will be down and the other one will be up. I think there's one new branch that I've done. So there is patch one. I think. Oh yeah, I didn't upload anything, so don't worry about that. So let's see whether the builds happen faster here, because back then it took only 45 seconds and 1 minute. So let's see whether this will be faster and more aggressive. So I was only running 6 workflows. So yeah, let's see what's the biggest change that I've accomplished here. So yep, home controller, the Java. So yes, artifact got built. That's perfect. Oh, why is this behaving like this? Okay, so since that was 37 seconds, this should be less. Let's see what's happening in the deploy to the production stuff that's going on. So it need not have to take that time. I think it's loading production. See how catchy that thing is. How cool. So if you think of the companies which deploy at scale, we are talking at something like, hey, at the petabyte scale of an description that we really need, and over a course of time, this is what we want to achieve, right? This is what the ultimate goal of an organization will be. So I think this should be perfect. I think 1 minute 30 seconds. I think get built, because I don't want to show the old code to them, because they want something new every time, right? So until then, we can enjoy this working stuff. So it's just Poonam. Poonam was working with me back then. I don't know why it's taking too much of time today. Now it's taking too much of time. I didn't do anything to that code as well. So all the things that I did as a demo, it worked on a main as well. So I don't know why this thing is taking a lot of time. So if you see this code, I think this code is the first one, just the build artifactory one. I'll show you how does that thing work. I think this is just, oh, this has deploy. This is the build that happened. So you can see that there's that maven clean, maven install. All the Linux command is now being automated. And that's the ultimate stuff that you really want, right? You want to automate at scale. Oh, it worked. Perfect. Let's see whether Sarthak's name come here. Why didn't Sarthak's name come here? I wrote Sarthak, right? I think in this comment. Yes, I wrote it as Sarthak, but what happened to you all of the sudden? Yes, Sarthak Jain and UPS for hosting it. So it's finally is here. So whatever I committed as a new thing finally is updated. So it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of pressure to analyze, okay, this is what we require, things like that. So I think perfect, folks, perfect for it. Do check out all the links that we are sharing. And I think that's it from my side. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekends. And if there are any other stuff that you really want to ask me, do ask me about anything that you really want to ask right now. So yes, folks, I'm ending the meet. If you can submit a slide link yesterday and today. Okay, the slides will be there here in the description as well. So I think I did a tiny CC slide thing. I think I'll just do it for you guys. Don't worry. Google Slides, untitled presentation. No, no, no. It's not that. Sorry for that. It's slides. It's here. So I need to sign in. So I get the Azure Devops thing. Don't worry, go nuts, use it. And I think I have one more slide on the market analysis. I think I can do that as well. So you guys can go check it out on my channel. So my channel is youtube.com/, DevOps roadmap 2. Yes, that will be there in your Azure DevOps market analysis that I'm taking. So it will be there live on my channel. So I'll also make sure that this will be uploaded uploaded onto our Azure Developer Community channel as well. So don't worry about that. So I think I will give you all the slides. Don't worry about that. So today's slide is here. So let me just do a tiny.cc live here so that you guys can check it out. So tiny.cc, I think, yeah, DevOps roadmap for sure. Submitting the slide, yes, I'll be doing it right now. So can you share this screen now so that they can see what's that tiny.cc that we are doing? So can you share the screen now? Yeah, I have to share the screen. Sorry for that. So yes, so I have shared my screen. Share the screen so that they can see the tiny.cc link there. So roadmap is very simple. Just take a project, try automating it, read the book called as the Toyota Katha. I'll give you that as well, so don't worry. So Azure DevOps slides, Vishwas. I think this is the slide name. I think if you can go click on it, it goes back to this. It's tiny.cc. I think I'll put it in a private chat and let it be there. And I think tiny.cc, Vishwas slides. I'll zoom it. Don't worry. So, yes, it's text here, slides available here. Slide available, not the slides. Sorry for that. Slide available here. Available here. So you guys can do check it out. So slides are available here. So this is that tiny.cc thing that we started working towards. I think I can share Azure Market as well. So instead of you guys looking for it, I think I can do that. Azure Devops Market. This is the new version of it. I think DevOps. Oh, sorry for that. So Azure Devops Market. It's here. So I need to just put it in the private chat, and you guys can see that. So this is for the DevOps market, and I'll be actually comparing with different countries and the different industries that are using DevOps. You guys can go check it out. This is the slide that I'm talking about. So Azure DevOps market, we are talking here. So I think that's it, folks. I think yesterday's slide, you guys can go check it out in the session that we did. I think that's it. So okay, sir nahi Vishwasi hu, so don't worry about it. Okay, I didn't send. Oh, okay. Yesterday's one, I think I've forgotten. Just go check it out, or else I'll do in one more thing. Azure DevOps, which was something, or else I'll just share it in the link here. So don't worry about that. So wait, it's Azure DevOps market, right? It's Azure DevOps world. So I think you guys can check out this one. So yeah, I think I put it in a private chat. So let me just do the new one. So it's new one, tiny.cc. New one is the new slide that I'm talking about. Oops, try again. So optional new 1111 something. Like I'll just try doing that. So the new link is here, folks. So it's tiny.cc, new four ones, four times one 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 one. So I think I'll put the new thing. I think that's the slide for the DevOps world introduction that I did. So tomorrow, Tarun Marwa sir will be coming on and will be talking a lot about other sessions as well. So do check it out on your on our Azure Developer Community channel as well. And I think perfect, folks, perfect. And thank you so much for being part of this session. We'll end the broadcast here. That's it. I think no other questions, so you all can move. How different is Azure Boards? I think I answered that, so no problem. So end the broadcast. It would be awesome. And do reach out to me on LinkedIn again. So it's always there. So it's Vishwas N. It's Vishwas Naran 5 on Twitter. I'm open for messaging, so anybody can message me. So, any other questions? I don't think. All right. So, thank you, sir. Sir, nahi, Vishwas is fine. That's perfect for me. So, we are ending the broadcast. Thank you so much, folks. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Call me, sir. And I think that's perfect. So, yeah, the timing will be on same time, 6 p.m. to 7. So, don't worry about that. So, tomorrow's session, 6 to 7. So, be there, folks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all your thank yous, by the way. So if you're open to writing papers, reach out to me again. By the way, open offer for you folks.